Hi and welcome back to my channel. We are back. My apologies that there wasn't a video last week, very good reason for it. Joe, my sidekick and cameraman, has been in hospital. When we did the last vlog on Saturday, I did say we might be missing for a while. Joe was scheduled for surgery on the Wednesday. It was a bit nerve-wracking leading up to it. And to be perfectly honest with you, on the Saturday, the Sunday, the Monday and the Tuesday, I just kept reaching for chocolate. And it was stress, totally stressed out I was. And I don't know why I do it to myself, other than something that came up in group this morning when I was talking at Image Therapy. It got round to me and what I'd done this week. And it was a revelation really, because I suddenly realised that last week I had said why I had the result I had, and the actual reason I gave was because I was emotionally eating. This morning I was much more honest, and it came to me just actually thinking about it, sitting in a group situation. I was not emotionally eating. I was looking for an excuse to eat chocolate, and I'm always looking for an excuse to eat chocolate. The same way I could so easily look for an excuse to smoke fags, because it's an old habit, because it's something I enjoy, because it's something I resent, the fact that I can't do it every day, all day. And when I'm in a situation where I can use it as an excuse, I will. And that's where I need to tighten up on myself, because the only person who's going to pay for me doing that is me. And I paid for it last week. So Joe was in hospital from early Wednesday morning until late Saturday. Everything's gone really well. He's making a brilliant recovery. He's very committed to getting well, aren't you?
Yeah.
We want to thank everybody for their get well cards and gifts. It's been so, shall I say, uplifting this week to know that people genuinely care. And the number of our friends who have really stepped up to the mark, our local friends, and the number of YouTube friends who have genuinely offered help and support. It's been mind-blowing. You know, in this sort of situation, you learn who are the people who really care about you. And some of those people are people you've not known for very long, and they don't live on your doorstep, but they are willing to go that extra mile. So thank you to those friends from YouTube who offered help and support and encouragement. And thank you to our local friends who are literally doing our shopping at the moment, because Joe can't drive for 8 weeks. He's not allowed to on his insurance, well, he couldn't do it at the moment anyway. He has had a total right hip replacement, and he's on crutches, and he's doing amazingly well. He's really, I don't know whether he's surprised himself, but he surprised me by his discipline and his commitment to getting well. I just wish I had more of his nature and a bit less of mine. So yeah, last week, not this week, but the previous week, I was not emotionally eating. I was looking for any old excuse to pick up chocolate, and I paid for it, and I deserved to pay for it, and I gained £7. Now, I emotionally or looked for an excuse to eat emotionally for 4 days, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Joe went into hospital at like 6:30 on the Wednesday morning, and on the Wednesday, the Thursday and the Friday, my food was spot on, no problem. I didn't reach for chocolate, I didn't reach for anything I shouldn't. I was backwards and forwards to the hospital, doing the stuff you do, you know, and it's a good distance. It's a £15 taxi ride to the hospital, so you can tell it's not on the doorstep. And doing that, you know, twice a day. But I was really lucky because, again, friends stepped in and said, what you do, pay for taxis? This is what you have friends for. And it was brilliant, wasn't it, Joe? The people, you know, literally saying, I'll take you, we'll go, we want to see him and all this, like, and it just went like clockwork. And that was one of the things I was actually stressing about, thinking, not as a blind person getting a taxi to the hospital, not about the cost, it was going to cost me 60 quid a day for 4 taxis, none of that. My stress was, how the hell am I going to get from the front door of the hospital to the ward? And the surgeon was amazing. You know, he said to me, these phone numbers, you ring the ward, they'll come and get you. They put everything in place that they could to help me. But it was still a bit scary, because it's a city hospital. Nottingham is a massive hospital. It's got miles and miles of corridors. But you know, so many friends were like, but we'll take you, but we want to go and see him. And the whole thing went like clockwork. And what did you describe it as? Being in hospital? It was like...
Being in a hotel?
Being in a hotel. They looked after him that well. And because Joe has so many food intolerances and food allergies, they even catered for all of that. And he had something called Wiltshire Farm meals, which they do arrange for people who have a lot of intolerances. And they're lovely, aren't they, Joe?
Yeah.
So much so that when he came home, we actually rang the company and ordered some meals to be delivered to the house, because it's one less meal a day for me to cook for him, or for him to have to stand and cook for himself, because Joe and I don't eat the same meals all the time. But the one good thing we have discovered is that a lot of these Wiltshire Farm meals are very good on sins. I mean, you had sweet and sour chicken with rice and vegetables, 6 sins. Yesterday at lunchtime he had minted lamb in gravy with vegetables and roast potatoes, 6 sins. So as a fallback thing, as a stopgap thing, and for me when I'm short of time, they will come in handy, these meals. So yeah, so he's back on track. He's 10 days into recovery. Only another, 7 weeks and you can drive again. Hopefully he'll get out later this afternoon and try walking a bit of a distance. But unfortunately, because Joe's on crutches, he can't guide me. And I'm not complaining about that, I'm quite happy with it. But the one thing I would say is this week, whereas I would usually average 12 to 15,000 steps a day, I've probably averaged 12 to 1,500 steps a day, because my bungalow is not that big. And while Joe was doing tours of the bungalow, learning to use his crutches effectively, and I'm toing and froing and bitting and bobbing and housework and washing up and all the usual stuff, I've been doing Joe's exercises with him, which has been good because it's also strengthening my legs. But this week I could not rely at all on any exercise, and I genuinely say that I don't rely on walking to lose weight. So this week I had to rely on plan. I went back to what I know as the basic plan: 2 A's, 1 B, 15 sins. And that's what I've done every day, literally 2 A's, 1 B, 15 sins. Not 5 to 15, I actually max it out to 15. Went to group this morning, stepped on the scales with a little bit of apprehension, because I thought, last Friday night, before I got weighed on the Saturday, late on the Friday night, being in hospital visiting, coming back with my friend and her daughter, and we were like, oh gosh, it's getting late and none of us have had dinner. Great, let's go to Coates. Is it Coates? Cote, I think it's called. Anyway, couldn't get a table for an hour and a half, so ended up next door but one at Carluccio's, which was fabulous, but their food is not Slimming World friendly. Well, not unless you want a lettuce leaf or 3, which I don't do salad. So I had the wild mushroom risotto with truffle oil and shavings of parmesan, and I actually had my friend's daughter ordered me some garlic focaccia, which I love. And then we all had a Fiorentina, I think they're called, which are the little hot chocolates. But to be honest with you, I was full. And I didn't want to finish my meal with something sweet. I like the savoury, so I gave my Fiorentina to my friend's daughter, who said she would graciously drink it. She'd make a sacrifice, she said, and drink it for me, which she did. So that was eating very late on Friday night before getting weighed on the Saturday. But again, I'm not going to say I gained 7 pounds on Saturday because I did that. I gained 7 pounds on Saturday because I ate chocolate, and chocolate just doesn't work for me. I was having a discussion with a nursing group this morning, and she has exactly the same issues. If she follows plan, she's bang on target. If she succumbs to some chocolate, it doesn't even need to be very much, pounds go on. And it's a lifelong journey. I'm learning these things about myself, and the biggest thing I've learned this week is I don't emotionally eat. I just look for an excuse to eat chocolate, and I need to address that. Okay, so £7 gain last week, £4 loss this week. Didn't do anything other than stick to plan. Last Saturday, my consultant got gold status as a Slimming World consultant. Now, a lot of the things in Slimming World for the franchisees are very much target-led. It's very much, however much work you're prepared to put in, you can get a lot out of being a franchisee for Slimming World. Sit on your laurels, I don't think you'd go very far at all. I think it's hard work to be a consultant. Not only have you got to be the right kind of person to stand up there at the front and have the right attitude and not, I couldn't do it. I'll be honest with you, even if I could see, I could not be a Slimming World consultant. Don't have the patience, don't have the tolerance, and it would be written all over my face when somebody was sitting there saying, but I only had a Domino's pizza and they're 5 sins. As Naomi pointed out this morning, even the small Domino's pizza, which is now advertised as low calorie, low fat, is 33 sins. Now somebody said to me in group, if I was a consultant, and somebody said, I only had a small pizza and they're only 5 or 6 sins, I'd be saying don't talk such shit, because I have got no patience and no intolerance and I'm just not the right kind of person for that job. But you know, if you are, and you are prepared to put the work in, like my consultant is, you can take it a long way. I mean, my consultant doesn't do this for a full-time job. She actually has her own business. She's an interior designer. She lectures in upholstering and all sorts of artistic things. She's a beautiful person, very clever lady. But oh my, she just doesn't give 100% to Slimming World. She gives 175% or 199%. She is there for us every day of the week. And she stands up at the front and she shares what she's doing and she shares her results and she leads by example. She never talks the talk without walking the walk. And very much well deserved. Last week she got gold status. Now one of the members made these for us all so we could wave them. And we had gold balloons and we had gold cupcakes. But my consultant had gone to a firm called Strawberry Cupcakes, which is in Nottingham, and they made for us little cupcakes which were topped with gold, which were made with aubergine, ground almonds and honey, and were gluten-free and goodness knows what else free, but also were 1 sin each. And they were lovely. They were really, really lovely. Can't get the recipe, it's a secret, but they were really divine. And we had a proper party and a real celebration, because it's, to get gold status, it's 4 months of continual results. And my goodness, the standards are high. And we're talking about numbers through the doors, you know, and you can't just drag people in off the street, and new members don't count, and target members don't count. It's all about consistency, and it's all about people who keep coming back because they're committed to plan. And in our group, people do keep coming back. I think last week in the 2 groups, she only has 2 groups, not 3. Some 3 groups do this. She has 2 groups. I think in the 2 groups last week, we had 211 through the doors. And those people were there again this week, when it didn't count towards gold status, because she's got it. And my Slimming World consultant now gets to go to the Slimming World Awards. What do you call the top awards for films? Oscars.
Oh.
Yeah, Slimming World have a Slimming World Oscars, and Margaret Miles Bramwell is there, and she presents these hard-working consultants with their awards and things, and they get to dress up in gorgeous frocks and take their husband along in their tuxedos and things, and it's a beautifully glamorous evening. And I think my consultant really deserves to be there. And as far as I know, she's the first gold consultant on the board this year for Slimming World. So congratulations, Naomi, you really deserve this. You really do. Because I would not be where I am today without my consultant. She inspires me every day. And I'm always saddened when I hear people say, oh, my consultant's not very good. My consultant doesn't know very much. My consultant. Don't go to her. Don't give her your money. Go to somebody who does know. Go to somebody who does motivate you. I don't go. I think there are 3 or 4 groups nearer to my house than one I go to. But I go to one that gets results. I could go to one just up the hill. And that's on a Saturday morning, like mine is. But no, I go right across to the next sort of part of town to somebody who gets results. And I'd advise anybody to do that. If your consultant isn't motivating you, don't give it your £4.95. Give it to somebody who is, even if it means you have to catch a bus or walk a bit further or get the car out. It's worth it, because this is life-changing, really life-changing. Okay, so that's Naomi and her gold status. What was the next thing on my list? Online shopping. You got it on your phone?
Yeah, online shopping.
Yeah. this week, 2 or 3 of my friends have been dropping us off shopping because we like fresh food. We don't like frozen food and we don't like out-of-date food. We like fresh food. And one of my friends is doing a Marks and Spencer's run once a week for us. Richard, bless him, has done a Marks and Spencer's run this week, and he's done an Iceland run this week because Joe wanted some Slimming World sausages, and he's doing us another Marks and Spencer's run today. One of my dear friends who's in her mid-80s has been to Morrison's for us twice this week to get fresh sushi and fresh veg and some fruit, and it's just marvellous. It's working so well, but I don't like to put on people, and I'm conscious that Joe can't drive for another 7 weeks, and I'm thinking there's got to be another way, even if it means an online shopping delivery twice a week, because I can't believe when you do I'm not an online shopper. I don't like online shopping. I'll use it if I need to, but I wouldn't use it as a rule of thumb because we like to pick what we want to eat. I like to pick my own meat. I like to pick my own fish. I like to pick my own fruit and veg with Joe's help. I can't believe that when my friends do online shopping and they get in a shop for the week, because these are working people who don't have time to go shopping 2 or 3 times a week like we do, that a lot of what they get, it's got 2 days date on it, or 3 days if you're lucky. So they're freezing everything. And I'm a bit like, hang on a minute. Frozen food, I don't mind putting in my freezer. So the Wiltshire Farm meals, they're frozen, they'll go in the freezer. The Slimming World sausages, they're frozen, they'll go in the freezer. But there ain't no way on this earth I'm buying fresh food to then shove it in the freezer. I want fresh meat, I want peppers, pears, apples, fresh, everything fresh. And I was so disillusioned this week that when you do online shopping, stuff's got short days, if they've got what you want in the first place. Now, top of my list this week, I had John West Infusions teriyaki salmon, which is something I really enjoy. Been eating it for months and months. Right, so we go on to, now if I shop in Morrison's, they've got every flavour of this salmon. The bit where the teriyaki ones is, it says out of stock. It's said out of stock now for 6 weeks, but I thought, order it online. They'll have it in the warehouse, won't they? Oh no, they don't sell it. They don't sell it from the online shopping, but you can get it in the shop, right? Scratch that, they're not having my money. So then we go to Asda. Now we live within a hop, skip and a jump for Asda hypermarket. That's not the Asda that's used for our online shopping. Our online shopping comes from an Asda 15 miles away. Go figure. Right, so I could do click and collect from my Asda, but then I'd have to get a taxi to pick it up. It's just a hassle. So you do an online shop. So we start again, John West teriyaki salmon. Don't sell it. What? They only do tuna infusions, don't do the salmon infusions. Scratch that. So we then end up at Sainsbury's, which is about 4 miles away, but I don't know if our online shopping comes from that Sainsbury's or further afield. And we have to do the shop at Sainsbury's because it's the only place that sells the salmon I want, but doesn't sell half the other stuff I want. And to me, it's like, I mean, some of you watching this will probably say, I love online shopping, it really works for me. But oh my God, the stress. We must have spent an hour and a quarter yesterday, Joe, didn't we? Mm. Trying to do an online shop from a supermarket that sold everything we needed. And we don't want anything peculiar or unusual. But that to me is flipping hard work. We could go to Morrison's, which is 2 miles up the road, do our shopping and be back, when Joe's able, in less time than it actually took us to find a supermarket that could sell us what we wanted. And I must say, by the end of the hour and a quarter or wherever it was it took us, our inner chimps were ready to kill each other. Because I'm saying, don't want that. Joe's saying, don't be awkward. You know, it's like, why can't we shop here? Then we found a voucher. Shop in Sainsbury's, spend £80, get £15 off. That's all it said. So I said, well, I will buy a few extras, bulk up on some things, stock up on others, and managed to spend £83 something. We're going to put the voucher code in. It says, this voucher is for first-time shoppers only. Right? Doesn't say that on the voucher. And the last time I did an online Sainsbury's shop has to be 7 years ago. Easily 7 years ago. So it was like, well, bugger them. They're not having my money. So then we go to Morrison's, we go to Asda, we end up back at Sainsbury's because the only place that's got teriyaki salmon. But you know, by the end of it, I'm thinking, oh, God help me. I'd rather pay for a taxi and pick up a click and collect shop, which would probably cost me about £8 or £9 in taxis, 2 taxis to pick it up. I'd rather do that than have the stress of online shopping. Because by the time we had finished the online shopping, I felt like saying to him, add me a big bar of Cadbury's whole nut. I am so stressed. There you go, another excuse to eat chocolate. So if you want to comment this week, if you find online shopping suits you, tell me why it suits you. Tell me why it's better than actually going and doing your own shopping. As I say, at the moment, we're resorting to online because Joe can't drive. But, dear God, what a stressful episode. Anyway, my teriyaki salmon is coming tomorrow afternoon. I'm really pleased about that. And finally, what am I going to do for this week? What am I going to do going forward? Well, pretty much the same as last week. I'm just going to stick to plan. At the start of the week, my head was very much saying, Jane, do 1A, 1B, 15 sins. You need to get this £7 off. That thought lasts for about 3 minutes, just about as long as the do SP lasts. And a lot of people were talking in group this morning about doing SP. But the lady sitting behind me had lost 3 stone in 19 weeks. And then the lady sitting next to her had lost 2.5 stone in those 19 weeks. And then the lady sitting next to them, who's been there who's been there 3 weeks and lost 11.5 pounds, thinks she might do SP next week to get a better loss. I can't do SP. I can do an SP meal because sometimes a meal just works out that way. But I can't do an SP week because it shoves me right back into dieting mode. And I think last Saturday, what my head was doing when I was starting to say do 1A, 1B, 15, up to 15 sins was, you need to diet, Jane. The thing for me today, and I know this is not true of everybody, the book says I can have 2 A's, 1B, 5 to 15 sins. If I resorted to 1A because I thought it would give me a better weight loss, by next week or the week after, I would be shit scared of going back up to 2. Because that's how mental my head is, and that's how much I am diet focused still. After 9 years of being on a weight loss plan, I am still diet focused. And Joe and I have had some pretty good discussions this week comparing eating plans and diets and things. I'm talking about why we favour Slimming World. But the bottom line for me with any of it is always going to be calories in, calories out. As long as I don't eat more than my body needs, as long as I can hit it there or thereabouts, I can maintain. If I need to shed a few pounds, as long as I'm in a deficit, I will lose weight. I proved that this week. I lost 4 pounds this week. You can come back and tell me that's probably water. You can click me a dislike if you like, because I've actually stopped looking how many dislikes I get, because it's irrelevant. I'm sharing my story and I'm sharing the truth about me. And I'm here to say I am Slimming World 100%. I don't want to do 5-2, which is the way some people in my group do Slimming World. They take the weekends off, try to pull it back Monday to Friday. We've talked about that this week. It doesn't work. I don't want to do hunger-led or hunger-encouraged or whatever it is eating. For the simple reason, if I really knew what hunger was, I would have never got to 22 stone in the first place. I am never hungry. So because I never feel hungry, what do I do then? I don't eat? Don't know. I use an eating window between 8 AM and 6 PM. That stops me pigging out in the evenings, which is my trigger time. And it works. And I've proved it works. I'm nearly 3.5 years at Target. And I am still in Target. I'm not out of Target today. I'm still in Target at 9 stone 2.5. I don't want to do calorie counting because calorie counting is known to be 10% out, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah.
They always say, even the calorie count, you know, if you buy a packet of sandwiches and it says this packet of sandwiches is, let's say 350 calories, I don't know what they are really, that is allowed to be 10% out either way by law. And let's face it, if they're making 1,000 of those packs of sandwiches, they can't possibly get them all at 350, 350, 350. So that pack of sandwiches can be 385 calories or 315 calories. And yet we take it as a religion. If it's got a number on there, it must be right. Well, it isn't always. And because I know that by law, a calorie written on a food product can be 10% out, that sends my head mental, because I'm saying to myself then, okay, Jane, you should be aiming to eat probably 1,750 calories a day, but you better take off 10% just in case. Because I'm mental about weight loss. And the simplicity of Slimming World is what is keeping me sane today. And the simplicity of Slimming World is what I knew I could trust this week. And I feel so well. Now, I've had neuralgia all week in my face. I've had a cold sore, which is something I never get. I've got a stiff neck, which is all due to the nerves in my face. So my head feels pretty crap.
You're at 26 minutes.
Okay, the rest of me feels bloody marvellous. Last Sunday, I could not fasten a pair of my size 10 jeans because I had gone up to 9 stone 6.5. Warning bells. Get out that book, get onto that plan, get this weight off. Today, I feel brilliant in my clothes. Standing here, size 10, feel good. So, I'm going to continue this week and do a few exercises with Jo, stay on plan, thoroughly enjoy it, and we'll be back next Saturday. Have a good one, and again, thank you everybody for your good wishes and cards and gifts. Cheers.